stuck is a signal. It is a signal that you are ready for growth. And sometimes the business growth doesn't happen first. It's your growth that needs to happen first.
Welcome to the PowHERhouse Podcast for founders and leaders, scaling smart and thriving without burnout. I'm Nicholle. Stay with me here and let's get better together.
Hello, my friends. So I have a quick little episode for you today, but I really just wanted to chat about what's on my mind and what I experienced at an event today, because I'm pretty sure you're experiencing it too, or you have in the recent past. If you've been in business for a while, like me, maybe 5, 8, 10 years, for me, it's been over a decade. And every time I say that, I have an out-of-body experience because I'm still 30, so I'm not that old yet. That's how I'm choosing to identify anyways. But sometimes I tell myself, what else is there to learn? I've heard the motivational talks, the sales trainings, and you've been told how many times that you need to clarify your message, niche down, and optimize your offer, right? Rinse and repeat. And so sometimes when we walk into these learning events, we say to ourselves, I'm just here to network and I really don't have anything new to learn. However, what I can promise you is that if you open your ears, talk to the people in the room and really listen, what you may find is that you've heard all of the things, but it doesn't mean that you've successfully taken action on all of the things. And even if you did, if your business has grown, growth shows cracks. And there's probably some tweaking you need to do, some refining. And so I have realized that these events are like critical to always go back and hear the basics and see what you can take away to process, improve, to tweak, to always get better. That is the literal definition of a growth mindset. And when I walked in, I kind of have that little chip on my shoulder thinking like, oh my gosh, I've heard this before. And I was a little frustrated. But of course, I tuned in and took away a lot of nuggets that I'm like, shit, I can definitely level up, get better, and do better with now what I know hearing this with more seasoned ears. So that is really the big takeaway. Number one that I want to talk about and want you guys to realize is that try to not just shut down things that you think you've already heard before, because you never know how you may hear it differently, but then who's in the room to help give you a new idea. And it can really make all of the difference in your business. So, for me, it really did. I walked out with a couple actionable things, and one of them being, I need to do more case studies. It has been on my parking lot list forever, but I have not actually taken time to sit down to write out case studies of all these client transformations that we've had for our website, for social proof, for social media. This would be so effective, and we haven't done it. Why? I don't know. I've been told 100 times, but I never implemented it. So now I'm committed to do that, especially in a financial planning business. People want to see, man, can you help someone like me? Can you actually change things? Because I feel like everything is impossible, or I feel like no one understands me, right? So that's where those case studies can come in really handy. And again, hearing these basics are so important. And so as our business grows and we hit these new inflection points, what used to work also may not work anymore, right? So that is another area I think in where we get stuck, where we've seen steady growth for maybe the last 5 years, and all of a sudden we realize we plateaued and we are still really busy, but we're not increasing profits, or we're not scaling, and we feel stuck and we just don't know where to go next. And that is often a huge sign that you need to change. And it starts with you. It starts with you getting uncomfortable. It starts with you admitting that you don't have all the answers. Maybe you need to call in reinforcements and get help or shake it up, talk to other business owners. But the reality is, stuck is a signal. It is a signal that you are ready for growth. And sometimes the business growth doesn't happen first. It's your growth that needs to happen first. Thinking differently, expanding, trying new things, taking a little bit of risk, and kind of letting go of the ego, right? And so what I want you to think about is, where in your business maybe do you need to go back to the basics and thinking about your sales systems, how you can make them better, what maybe does need to be changed or improved? Are there parts of your business where maybe your team members have gotten complacent and you need to level up the ante? Is there something that you do that could make you remarkable, that could make you stand out against the competition? And let me tell you, it's not good customer service, because everybody can say that. But what makes you so incredible, so special? What do you think has been working that maybe won't work over the next 12 months too? Really start thinking about that. And then where do you need to tighten things up? Get a little bit more brave. And more importantly too, one of the lines that the speaker said was, the most clear wins, not the loudest. And so you may not realize that your messaging isn't as clear as you thought. And so what I'd encourage you to do is ask strangers, interview them, or maybe your past clients or your friends, family, people that you know, but you don't do business with yet, and ask them what they think your messaging means. Ask them what they think you're selling. And if they don't give you an answer you're looking for or that you are hoping for, it means you have a messaging problem. And so you may need to break it down differently. You might need to be more clear, because when you're in your business and in your head all the time, and we think we're being crystal clear and we think it's amazing and the copy looks great, but it doesn't land, it doesn't convert, we got to change it up. And this doesn't mean you need the biggest following. It doesn't need the flashiest marketing. It just means you need more literal clarity. And this is something that I have been trying to tweak, get better at, and hone in on for literally since I started in business, but most importantly this year, because what I have realized is that we do struggle with the education piece. What we do at our financial planning firm is so unique. It's so different than most other financial advisory firms, but communicating that has been really hard. And so that's something that I was actually role playing with a peer of mine and talking it out, because I'm like, man, I love to solve the puzzles and the complexity. And it lights me up when I see these women grow their confidence and feel empowered, and they're seeing what they're capable of achieving and the security that they feel. And then I said, I'm kind of like the fractional CFO that bridges the gap between your personal finances and your business finances and aligns everything to create a life. And, we're spitballing all this. And it's like, okay, great. Now, how can I take all of those words and put it into clear messaging? So that's something that I'm going to noodle this weekend, because although I thought I've been being clear, I haven't been being as clear as I could be. So let's get better, right? And it doesn't matter how successful you are, how long you've been in business. There's always fine tuning that you can do, that you can work on. And so, keep that in mind too. It is really powerful to get feedback and to have conversations to either validate that you're on the right page or that you need to tweak some things just to be more effective with a better sales process. So I hope that makes sense, because sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. And it is so easy to have blind spots when you're in the business. And when you aren't clear, it doesn't convert. And so very, very powerful stuff right there. And then another thing to really think about too is those differentiators, going back to that, what makes you stand out? What makes you better than the rest? And it might be hard for you to answer, but again, take some time and really refine that. What makes you special in your niche, in your industry? And if you don't know, think of something, get creative. What can you do so that people see there's no other option than to work with you? That is our huge, huge, huge goal, is that I just want to be known, right? That's our BHAG, as the firm for women. You don't think of anybody else other than Wilcox Financial and PowHERhouse. You're a woman and you need help with your finances or growing your business, right? That is it. That is where I want people to come. And when you become a client, you become family, you're part of our community. We're constantly doing little things to make sure that our clients feel loved, supported, like they're getting real advice that they need, and we're paying attention, little things. And so we're always challenging ourselves how we can do better to really create this community where our clients feel like the actual fabric of everything that we do. So we are constantly trying to build on that. And I challenge you to do the same, because people also, if you haven't noticed, aren't as loyal as they used to be. There's a lot of noise out there. And so you want to make sure, especially if you're in a service-based business, how can you create someone who is either a lifelong customer or a repeat client, so that you are spending less time on bringing in new people and just loving the ones that you have and creating that base as you continue to grow. It can make business a lot less painful and a lot more enjoyable. And then lastly, of course, if selling feels like ick to you, think about this storytelling. I talked a little bit earlier about how we have to educate to sell. and create those transformations. And, it's so important. We all do it, whether we like it or not. You have to sell, right? To grow a business. But how many stories can you tell and come up with ways where you are talking about the problem, you're painting the outcome, you're walking through the transformation? That is not sales, that is leadership. So keep that in mind. If you are struggling with that, how can you reframe that process so that your message is leading to more emotional connection and transformation for what it is that your client needs? Your client doesn't care about you and all of your experience and your credentials at first, right? That's a later question. They care about how you can help them. So here is the takeaway. Be clear, be brave, be more specific, tell better stories, go back to the basics, show up to things you think you're too good for, see what nuggets you can pull out, because growth shows cracks. And if you are feeling stuck, think about all of the little things in your business that you can process, improve, dig into, and maybe you need help. And if you do, if you're not sure where to find the cracks or get unstuck or how to address them, and you really want someone to talk it out with, that is what we are here for, to support you in this old business. It is hard. And so reach out, send us a DM, engage, and let us know what your challenges are so that we can help you overcome them. Until next time, my powerhouses, continue to be courageous.